Sports.
We are Fox Sports. We are NC.
By improving the starting rotation, the Royals knew they'd be able to compete within the Central Division, and they're on their way. But there's also been competition within the rotation. 6 innings is the standard. A quality start has been the norm. It's Jeremy Guthrie's turn today on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball comes to you from Kansas City on a bright, sunny Sunday afternoon as the Royals will play a day-night doubleheader with the Cleveland Indians. Hi, everyone. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Welcome to Royals baseball. And the Royals are still on top of the Central Division after a 3-2 win last night. And now with the weather warming up, the Royals are hoping that the hitting will break out and catch up to the pitching. But to what degree does the hitting need to break out? Here's what they've done so far. Now, 5 or more runs, that's going to help any team in the league, and they're 5-1. But they're .500, small sample size when they score 4 runs a game. But look, when the Royals score 3 runs a game, they are 5-3. And as we bring in Rex Hudler, the reason why that formula has worked is because the Royals have the second best ERA in the American League.
Yes, and you know what a great day it is, Ryan, to be able to talk about this team, the way they're performing. They are worth the ticket the way they're performing right now. Starting pitching, bullpen, and you know those runs you talk about, doesn't matter how many they score, as long as they score more than the opponent, is stay in that winning mode, and that's what we're seeing. It's really been a lot of fun.
Jeremy Guthrie goes today.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch him, especially the way he likes to take that mound. He sprints to the mound like he hasn't eaten dinner in a long time, and there's a plate out there waiting for him. Speaking of plates, he knows how to dissect that plate. Sliders off, 4-seamers up, buckle them. Any way you can, get the job done. Just follow Salvi's lead. It's been fun to watch, and to have him start this first game could set the tone for the second.
And then the bullpen, and there are guys who aren't getting work, but the guys who are getting work are doing what they did last year.
Whether it's Chin in the pen, Hoach, Crow, Collins, Herrera, they're all doing their job. And really what's amazing is they're not having the innings, like you said, like they had last year, but still they're sharp. They come in, they're getting the job done, they're closing the back end of the pen to win. It's been fun to watch.
And the Royals kept the ball in the ballpark last night against the Indians for one of the top home run hitting teams in the league.
Joel Goldberg out here in right field, right by the Indians bullpen, but good chance we could see Gerard Dyson tracking some fly balls over towards this way and throughout the Kauffman Stadium field pastures. You know, Lorenzo Cain is fine, but they still want to be a little careful just to be sure with those legs. Did so much conditioning in the offseason to make sure there weren't any issues, and he actually played all 18 innings of last weekend's doubleheader in Boston. Ned Yost wants to give him half a day off, and we'll get him back in there tonight. But as for this afternoon goes, it'll be Gerard Dyson in center field, and then we should see Cain back out in center field for the nightcap. He wants to be able to get Dyson some at-bats here, too, but it's just been hard to get that because Cain has been so good. Jeremy Guthrie is ready to throw the first pitch. Enjoy the game. Ryan Lefevre and Rex Hudler are back with the first call next. ball and a nice opportunity for Gerard Dyson to get out there in center field today. Welcome back to Kauffman Stadium. I'm Joel Goldberg out here in right field, right by the Indians bullpen, but good chance we could see Gerard Dyson tracking some fly balls over towards this way and throughout the Kauffman Stadium field pastures. You know, Lorenzo Cain is fine, but they still want to be a little careful just to be sure with those legs. Did so much conditioning in the offseason to make sure there weren't any issues, and he actually played all 18 innings of last weekend's doubleheader in Boston. Ned Yost wants to give him half a day off, and we'll get him back in there tonight. But as for this afternoon goes, it'll be Gerard Dyson in center field, and then we should see Cain back out in center field for the nightcap. He wants to be able to get Dyson some at-bats here, too, but it's just been hard to get that because Cain has been so good. Jeremy Guthrie is ready to throw the first pitch. Enjoy the game. Ryan Lefebvre and Rex Hudler are back with the first call next.
Missouri Lottery. Play it forward with Missouri Lottery. And by Chevrolet, your Kansas City Chevy dealers, the official vehicle of the Kansas City Royals. And by AT&T, the wireless receiver only from AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Today's game is brought to you in high definition by Time Warner Cable, the official TV, internet, and home phone provider of the Kansas City Royals. And not only is the sun making an appearance today, but it's actually putting off some heat. And we're going to get into the mid-70s today, so good weather. And if you're not aware of the schedule, there will be a second game tonight beginning at 7:10. So once you get all of your Sunday activities in order and you want to spend some more time outside as the weather warms up, got another game coming tonight which will not be televised. Cleveland Indians, before the game last night, were 5th in the American League in home runs, but the Royals kept them in the ballpark, and now Cleveland has gone 3 straight games without a home run. And a couple of changes. Mark Reynolds moves up in the lineup. He has 7 home runs for the Indians. He'll bat 5th. And Ryan Rayburn, who was not in the lineup last night, he will be in right field. Nick Swisher is the designated hitter. Facing a former first-round pick of the Cleveland Indians, Jeremy Guthrie.
Yes, Guthrie's going to take that mound with a lot of confidence, especially since he's going for his 16th straight game without a loss. And if he does that, he'll tie our great friend Paul Splittorff. Split did that from August in '77 to April in '78. I'll tell you, that's a pretty interesting record there, especially when you don't have your best stuff. Sometimes Guthrie's able to keep his team in the games and continue to let them win. Fun to see his two-seam, hard-sinking fastball, slider, and his changeup. Defending behind him, which is very important. We see Dyson in game 1 here in center field. Now, Dyson, he has this great speed to be able to patrol the K here, especially with the dimensions 410 straight away. And then the gap's 387. Very spacious ballpark, and you got to have speed, and that really helps that starting pitching.
It'll be Michael Brantley leading off, followed by Jason Kipnis and Asdrubal Cabrera. Brantley had a couple of extra base hits late in the game last night after the Indians did very little against Irvin Santana in the first 7 innings. And Brantley hit that 2-out 2-run triple in the 9th, and he was the tying run at third base with 2 outs, but Greg Holland ended the game with a strikeout of Jason Kipnis. Brantley is coming off a career season. Last year, a new career high in doubles and RBIs. 0-2.
A good hard sinking fastball, strike 1, changeup, strike 2. Guthrie knows the importance of working ahead, a lot like Irvin Santana. Every time we looked up on a hitter, he was 0-2. That puts the defensive swing on the hitter.
Missed just inside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Indians started the season 5-5, but then they lost 5 in a row, and now putting the pieces back together on a long road trip. They started in Houston. They moved to Chicago. They had an off day on Thursday and then the rain out on Friday, so finishing up that trip here in Kansas City. They have won 3 of their last 5 games.
Brantley had real nice at-bats yesterday, going gap to gap. Left center, right center. Double, triple. With 2 runs on late off of Holland. Catalyst type player. Good speed, very good athlete.
You probably played against his dad, Mickey Brantley.
I did.
So Michael's got a good feel for the game because he's been around the game. Been around the game at a very high level most of his life. And that is just foul off of first base. Still 2 balls, 2 strikes.
What a day. You know, Ryan, coming here last season, and they had that drought. I mean, everything was brown. You know, there was no rain last year at all. And then moving the family here in January, and all the snow and everything. And then coming off that 10-day road trip, everything was so green here. And I was like, oh, man, look at how beautiful Kansas City is. And with this weather today, man, folks that came out to the K, you made the right decision. It's beautiful. Fountains out there. There's not a ball player in America that's been here that doesn't love this place. Also, where they stay at the plaza. How could you not love that?
It is interesting when you read the media guides of other teams, and some of them will have a little survey, you know, your favorite ballpark, your favorite city, your favorite player growing up, and how many major leaguers, their favorite road city is Kansas City because of Kauffman Stadium and staying at the plaza. One thing the Royals would like to change about that is that a lot of opposing players over the years have talked about how comfortable it is to play here as a visitor. And as the team continues to win and as the fans continue to show up, maybe it'll become a little less comfortable for visiting players. Late movement, it got the inside. Brantley gave up on it, and Guthrie wins the 9-pitch battle. The streak that Hud was talking about, where Guthrie has gone 15 consecutive starts without a loss, that goes back to August 3rd of last season. So 15 starts. He's 7-0. The Royals are 13-2. And his ERA is about 2.5. And that had been the longest streak since Kevin Appier, who went 13 in a row in 94 and 95, but he has now passed Appier, now shooting for the team record established by Paul Splittorff. Jason Kipnis struck out 3 times last night, including to end the game. And he's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
Well, you know, that's one of the things that has changed this year with the new starters in the environment is the position players are coming to the ballpark thinking we got a chance to win.
Into left, and Alex is there for the out.
You know, in the mentality of these guys, you know, it's important, when the confidence, and it starts when you wake up and you head to the ballpark. You're going to work. They call it work. It's really not. But they're going to play baseball. And they start thinking about the little things. Well, okay, who's our starter today? I wonder if I'm going to be in there. You know, how are we looking? Oh, Guthrie's pitching? Oh, man, we got a chance to get another win. So that is a huge thing for a player on the way to the yard.
Little bloop base hit into right for Cabrera, who is hitting 162. However, he's also hit in 6 straight games.
All right, Salvi's sitting right over the middle of the plate. It was elevated just a tad. That's how he's able to get the barrel on it. And it kind of jammed him some, but it's a base hit. Now, Swisher, he's got the most at-bats against Guthrie than any of his teammates, 29. He's got 13 hits, a couple homers against Guthrie.
And he made the 2 biggest outs in the game last night. And the Indians had the bases loaded with 1 out in the 3rd inning. And the Royals had just scored 2. Salvador Perez had just hit his 2-run home run, and the Indians came back with 3 singles and with 1 out. Urban Santana got Nick Swisher to ground into a double play, and then the Indians were very quiet in the next 4 innings against Santana. 0-2.
You know why they call this the pitcher's best friend? 1 pitch, 2 outs. Boy, that's a beauty right there. Nice play, well played. First man sure, second man quick. Escobar with a strong arm. That'll work. Guthrie will do that. Although he is more of a fly ball pitcher, he has the ability with that running 2-seamer to bring grounders.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Now our colleague, Hall of Famer Bert Blyleven, would say that a double play is a pitcher's good friend, but his best friend is a triple play. Of course, only Bert would say something like that.
How often does that happen?
But he's changed the way I see a double play being a pitcher's best friend.
That's beautiful. Swisher hitting with glasses. I've never seen him hit with glasses during the day, but it's a good idea if you're comfortable with it. But what hitters have a hard time with is when they're looking towards the mound, looking through the bridge of their nose between, you know, the glasses. Sometimes it distracts your vision and it takes away a little bit. But if you just turn your head a little bit more, you're looking straight at him, and it actually cuts the glare off. It's not a bad thing if you're comfortable with him.
Changeup is just low. 3-2. That's exactly where Guthrie and Perez wanted it.
Yep. You see that changeup, how he kind of splits his fingers with that super slow motion camera. You can really slow it down. Too bad hitters can't do that.
So Cabrera will be running with a full count and 2 outs. And Swisher grounds it back to Guthrie. And that's the inning. So a good start for Jeremy Guthrie, a scoreless first. The Royals will be facing Justin Masterson when we come back. 5-2 in their first 7 games here at Kauffman Stadium, and they are on top of the Central Division. 12-8 record, and the Royals have a 1-game lead over the Tigers. Red Sox are a surprise in the East, as they have a 2-game lead over the Orioles, and the Rangers in the West, not a surprise, 3.5-game lead over the A's. And Joel was telling us before the first pitch about Gerard Dyson getting in there today, and Dios needed to get Miguel Tejada and Elliot Johnson some playing time. They played last night. Dyson's in there for Game 1 today, with Lorenzo Cain returning to center field for the nightcap. Justin Masterson off to a great start for the Indians. He has the 6th best earned run average in the league at 1.85, and the 8th best opponent's batting average at 208, and he's off to a 4-1 start.
Yeah, no, he's been impressive, and he's been their one lone bright spot so far in that rotation. 208 average against 13 walks. He does have a little bit of extra movement out of the zone, but 30 punch-outs already. Good, hard, heavy sinker from a 3/4 arm slot. He'll cut his fastball a little bit. He's got a nice breaking ball. It's more of a slider that he's gained confidence in. Occasional changeups, but mainly he trusts his sinker, and he adds and subtracts from that pitch. I know you see 92, maybe 93 at times, but you'll see some fastballs in the high 80s. He's in his 5th season, and he's starting to understand the art of pitching, changing speeds and locating.
Alex has done well against the Cleveland Ace, and almost hit by the pitch. 3 balls and 1 strike. Masterson is from the Red Sox organization. He was a 2nd-round pick in 06, where he played for Terry Francona when he got to the big leagues 2 years later in 2008. In fact, he got his first big league win against the Royals. And there wasn't a whole lot of talk about Masterson's first win. Some fans might remember it was one day after John Lester no-hit the Royals. And there's a great story about Justin Masterson and Terry Francona, going back to the day when the Indians acquired Masterson from the Red Sox, as Alex takes a walk and the Royals have the leadoff man on. There were teammates in the Boston clubhouse that literally were tearing up when they heard that Justin Masterson was being traded away. That's how well regarded he was as a young player. And as the story goes, when Terry Francona called the Indians, and Mark Shapiro, who was the general manager at the time, he called him to tell him what kind of a kid he was going to get in Justin Masterson. He called Justin Masterson in the office and said, I want Mark Shapiro to hear, I want you to hear what I'm about to say about your new team. That is a catch, as Kipnis tried to drop it and turn it into a double play. So Escobar is out, and Gordon is back to first base. How many managers do that? I'm going to call the next team and tell you what you're getting in this kid, but I want him to sit here and hear what I'm going to say about it.
No, it's special. Even though that deke there, Kipnis thought was special, it wasn't. You can't trick Paul Emmel. But anyway, that is a special trait that Terry Francona has with his teammate, I mean with his players. And I asked Masterson yesterday about that when you shared that story with me. And I said, how did that make you feel? He goes, well, first of all, it was my first trade ever from an organization. And second of all, I had no idea why I was in the office. And then when Francona had the other guy and had a speakerphone on, and he was telling my new GM all these things about me, I got goosebumps, he said. It made me feel so special that the manager thought that way about me. Masterson's a very humble guy, but when you have a manager like Francona that has those type of feelings for you and is able to make a gesture like that, that goes really far for both guys, Francona and Masterson. Now, you talked to Terry about that. Did he kind of played that off, I bet?
Well, he said, yeah, it kind of rings a bell. He did remind me that the Red Sox were in the middle of about 5 or 6 trades at that time, so people were going in and out of his office. He says, but I can picture myself doing that because of the way he felt about a young player being traded away, and now they're reunited here in Cleveland, or at least with the Indians. Billy was 1 for 2, 2 more walks last night. The Indians pitched around him a couple of times, and now Billy is 3rd in the league with 15 walks. And that is pulled foul. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Billy's 8 for 34, lifetime off Masterson, so he's got a pretty good sample of seeing that heavy, hard sinker come to him. Balls that go in, and sliders away.
And for a right-hand batter, I mean, you really got to hang in there against this guy, don't you? I mean, it's
yeah, you can't give up on that either one of them pitches, especially when you get 2 strikes on you.
That's on the ground to Cabrera, out at second base, and Kipnis over to Reynolds for a double play. So a leadoff walk, and the Royals send just 3 to the plate in the first against Masterson. The time is sign your kids up for Sluggers Blue Crew, brought to you by the Learning Quest 529 Education Savings Program. Members receive a gray batting practice jersey, a Royals hat, blue wristbands, ticket vouchers, priority access for the Sunday fun run, and much more for just $25. And you can go to royals.com/Blue Crew and sign up right now. Ball 1 to Mark Reynolds. The Indians signed him for a little extra punch in the lineup, and he's given them 7 home runs, which is the 3rd highest total in the American League. Not much power there, and Getz makes a nice running play out into shallow right field. 1 down to begin the second.
Okay, in the infield, you'll watch these fielders as the ball crosses the plate. You'll watch them have like a 1-2 step, and they're on the balls of their feet, ready to move left, right, in, or back. And that helps you be quick to react to that. Outfielders, you have 2 more seconds, so you don't have to exactly be on your toes like the infielders, but still, the ready position is important. The athletic, on the balls of your feet, ready to move.
Strike to Carlos Santana. And now Chris Getz, as we look at him here, he's standing out in shallow right field for a little extra range against Santana. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Santana 2 for 5. One of those 2 hits was a homer. So they believe he's going to pull that ball. That's why they play him to defend him that way. On the ground anyway.
We mentioned the Indians signing Reynolds for a little extra punch in the lineup, and they got Nick Swisher. And they got Giambi. Santana drives it to center. A long run for Dyson, and Santana hits the top of the wall, and it stays in for a double. And that's thanks to the new padding that was installed last year. Otherwise, that ball is over the wall, and Terry Francona wants to talk it over with the umpires. At least it looked from here that it hit that thin layer of padding. Francona thinks that it went over.
No, it did, but since you can appeal home run or borderline calls, that's what he's doing. He's going to come out and at least talk about it. But it was clear that it hit the padding. Ball's carrying today. How about that? With a little slight breeze blowing out. All Francona wants to do is just to see it again. As you can see it, our tremendous camera people, hits the top of the wall and bounces back in. So let him go review it. See if Guthrie throws a few pitches here to stay loose. 3 umpires out of the 4 go and they check it out. Now the reason they leave 1 umpire on the field is so nobody tries to pull anything fancy out there. Somebody has to keep the order.
Well, this shouldn't take very long once they look at the replay. I was going to say, Santana, remember last year, through thick and thin, Manny Acta kept him as the number 4 hitter. Now, there weren't other options to plug someone in the clean-up spot in the batting order, but now they have more options. Santana moves down in the order. Maybe that takes some pressure off of him, and he's responded, hitting right around 350 with 4 home runs.
And with a 462 batting average with runners in scoring position, he's able to pick up what some of the guys up ahead of him aren't able to get. So he's picking up the scraps.
And here they come.
Yeah, they usually don't make any gestures at all if it's the way they called it. So they're just coming back on the field. Guthrie threw about 6 or 7 little nice tosses to stay loose, and now we'll resume the game.
So it remains a double, and a runner at second base with 1 out. Double number 8 for Carlos Santana. Now Ryan Rayburn, the former Detroit Tiger, had a tough year last year with Detroit. He went on the disabled list twice. He was sent down to AAA. And he finished the season with a 171 batting average in the big leagues. Very versatile player. He can play on the infield. He can play in the outfield. And Terry Francona has him in right today.
He's hit 357 off of Guthrie in the past. So both of these managers are going to get some guys in there with a doubleheader day.
That has had a play. No balls, 2 strikes.
You know, he got booed a lot last year in Detroit. That was so sorry to hear that, and players, nobody wants to get booed, but he said, look, it made me stronger and it gave me a better appreciation for guys that struggle. But you know what, though? I killed them with kindness the best I could. I didn't let that bring me down. I went home and I didn't let that bother me. So he's able to grow as a human being through some of the tough times in baseball.
Guthrie drops down and misses outside, 1-2.
Imagine your next door neighbor that goes to work 9 to 5. He stays and works hard. He goes into his office and all of his buddies just start booing him. He'd be like, oh, okay. Thank you for the reception.
Well, my next door neighbor is a lawyer, so that might happen to him. I'm not sure.
I mean, that would be a tough working environment, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, that's the human side of this game that's so easy to overlook. Hey, these guys make a lot of money. They're on television. They get a lot of attention. They're flying around the country in chartered airplanes. And all of that is supposed to make them immune to criticism and booing. Sometimes their families are in the stands while they're being booed. Still 2-2 on Rayburn. And then, of course, you find out the guy's not hitting like he normally is. In fact, way below his standards, and he's hurt. He's playing injured. 3 balls, 2 strikes. So Guthrie was ahead 0-2, and now full count. Lonnie Chisenhall is on deck.
Rayburn's career numbers in his 6th year in the big leagues average is .256. He's got 54 career homers and 1,573 AB. So he's a performer. He's a player. Sometimes you don't have the years that you expect, but you battle through it. So keep the ball down here is what Salvi wants Guthrie to do. Have him hit it at somebody.
Got him to chase a slider down and away, and Guthrie has his 2nd strikeout.
Okay, taking advantage of an anxious Rayburn that wants to knock the run in. Put a little wrinkle on it. Got the job done.
And now Lonnie Chisenhall, who was 0 for 4 last night, he did score a run. Santana at second base with 2 outs. Chisenhall fouls it away. So you got one former first-round pick of the Indians facing another former first-round pick of the Indians. Jeremy Guthrie was actually drafted 3 times. There aren't many guys who can say that. He was drafted out of high school, and then he was drafted out of Stanford, but he decided to return. Pirates took him in the 3rd round. He went back to school, and then the Indians took him in the 1st round. 1 ball, 1 strike. First round of 2002, and got to the big leagues 2 years later, where he pitched mostly out of the bullpen. It wasn't until he went to the Orioles that he became a full-time starter. Check swing, no swing. 2 balls and 1 strike.
Guthrie's a smart guy. How about going away to Spain on your little your mission that that he did, and learned a lot. He said, did all he could. Said a lot of the people there, weren't real thrilled about what he was there for, the encouragement or whatever. But he said that he learned the language and he took advantage of the time that he was over there. Little did he realize that he was going to be in a profession that had 29 to 30% Latin American players that spoke the language, and now he knows it. He's able to communicate a lot better with his guys. Salvador Perez, even though these guys are all understand English, sure is nice when you got a guy that can habla a little Espanol.
And pretty impressive too. I mean, he was already a college player. He was at BYU, and then that two-year Mormon mission, by the way, where he says he didn't pick up a baseball. And then was able to come back to the United States, not only get drafted, but drafted twice, and once in the 1st round. Hosmer with a diving play on the right side, and he picks up Guthrie, who gets to the bag in front of Chisenhall. So good defense to begin the inning and end the inning. Salvador Perez, who hit his first home run of the season last night, he'll be coming up when the Royals bat in the 2nd. nice play to put an end to the top of the second.
How about a little love from the glove? Hosmer, that ball I thought was through. Saved a run and got Guthrie back in that dugout. Range and soft hands help starting pitching. And bullpen help, for that matter. Helps all of them.
Masterson misses low for ball one. Hosmer was 0 for 3 last night, but walked with the bases loaded in the 7th inning, which in the end ended up being the difference in the game. It gave the Royals a 3-0 lead, but the Indians scored 2 in the top of the 9th, so that walk was huge. How about that sweeping slider? You won't see Hosmer take a swing like that very often, but that pitch just ate him up.
And they're coming in there on him.
And same pitch. Eric strikes out, and that's Masterson's first. And now Salvador Perez, who hit his first home run just inside the right field foul pole last night. And we remind you, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. You know, we can talk about this all year and for the years to come, but again, another example of, you got a pitcher on the mound last night, a starting pitcher, who has won 16 games in the big leagues twice. He's won 17 games once. He's thrown a no-hitter. He has pitched in the postseason. And yet, when Irvin Santana was done last night, all he wanted to talk about was the work of his catcher, Salvador Perez, who's hasn't even played a full season in the big leagues yet.
Boy, that's impressive. We all know about Salvi just from watching him early in his young career. But for Irvin, that speaks about Irvin, too.
This time a fastball up. And Masterson strikes out Perez, 2 down in the 2nd inning.
Not too many hitters are going to hit a ball out of the park like Salvi did last night. Yeah, that's a good pitch there. Masterson going with his 4-seam fastball up in the zone like that, along with his 2-seamer. So we talk about the, he's had 30 strikeouts coming into this game. So he's got the upstairs 4-seamer and the sinker down like that one there. So it's really can play tricks on a hitter. But maybe Roberto Clemente, name some free swingers that have been in our game. Maybe could have hit a ball that was up and away, way out of the strike zone like that. It takes a free swinger to hit a ball like that. And I'll tell you about Salvi, just looks to hit it where it's pitched.
3-0 from Masterson to Mike Moustakas, who had one of his biggest games last year against Masterson. And he will walk on 4 pitches. May 29th to be exact, the Royals scored 7 runs off of Masterson. It's an AT&T U-verse reverse replay. Mike Moustakas had 4 RBIs in that game, including a home run against Masterson.
Well, notice how his take back on that last swing there. He's going back before he comes forward. That's so important for young hitters and big league hitters. You got to get something going back before you can come forward. You got to load. They call that loading. And so I'm sure Moose and the hitting coaches helped him and looked at it. Look, see how he's going back, taking his hands back. Just a little movement, but now he's got something coming forward. Got to go back to come forward. And that's one of the things that Frenchie, in my opinion, needs to start doing a little bit more of. He's going from too much of a standstill, and he's just going forward. Doesn't have a good load. And I mentioned that to him, and he said, Hud, I'm working on it. He says, I understand that.
2-1.
Takes time. Patience is the hardest thing for hitters because they want it now. So he's got a little movement going. He's bending that knee some, so that's helping him on his take back.
Foul ball took the mask off of Santana's face. thankfully his face stayed on his head.
Yes.
A lot of kids here at the ballpark today.
We wouldn't want to see what that happened if that wasn't the case. But, you know, Frenchie sometimes does his best work with 2 strikes. You know, one thing I'm missing, Santana's talking about how much that hurt. I'm missing the Moose calls here. I know it's early in the season, and Moose hasn't done a whole lot, but I can't wait till Moose can come on and bring these fans alive.
That's hit well into left center field. So with 2 strikes, Francoeur comes through. That'll get Moustakas to third. He'll be waved home, and he will score. Jeff Francoeur gives the Royals a 1-0 lead.
Forget about the Moose calls for now. How about the Frenchie calls? With 2 outs, Masterson thought he had him struck out. Little hard-running sinker in on his hands, but Frenchie gets him out of there with a ball that's elevated. Frenchie will say that got in on my hands just a little bit. What the heck? Look at him. They're giving Frenchie some love from the dugout. Some sign language, I guess.
And now Dyson, and he lays down a bunt, and it's going to roll up the line and just go foul. Chisenhall thought about grabbing it. It hit the grass and kicked to the left.
Okay, you know they tell you, bunting instructors, bunt it fair or foul. That way if it goes foul, you got another shot. And if it's a perfect bunt like that, that's a base hit. But this is exactly what they want Dyson to do. Look at the position. Look at his base. He's got a really good base right there. I like that. He's spread out. He's got good balance. And the angle of the bat's important when you're trying to do that. Just keep that barrel above the hands. Get the ball down.
1 ball, 1 strike. We were talking about that key 7th inning for the Royals when they scored their 3rd run last night. Well, that inning began with 2 strikeouts, 2 outs and nobody on. Alex Gordon singled and scored, and now in this inning, 2 outs and nobody on. Both strikeouts. Moustakas getting on with the 4-pitch walk, and Francoeur getting him home with the double. Masterson, I'm sure for a moment thought he'd have a quick, clean inning. And now Dyson pounds it into the right field corner, and that'll score Francoeur. And Dyson will stop at second base with a double.
All right, 2-out rallies are a beautiful thing. They really break the heart of the pitcher. Dyson got a fastball in, he pulls it. Now watch Eddie Rodriguez, he's going to hold Dyson. I like it. Frenchie, that's a no-brainer. He can take his time going home. But with 2 outs, Eddie Rodriguez held him as the runner. When you're thinking about 3, you look at the third base coach right before you get to second, and he'll let you know whether to come or not, and Eddie held him up.
Chris Getz got last night off as Johnson played at first base and fumbled by Reynolds, and then a high feed, but Masterson is 6'6", so he makes the play. With 2 outs and nobody on, Moustakas walks. Francoeur doubles. Dyson doubles, and the Royals take a 2-0 lead.
2-0. Gerard Dyson contributing 2. Joe Goldberg back at Kauffman Stadium, where we heard Ryan and Rex a little while ago talking about how much players love playing for Terry Francona. I had a chance to talk with former Royal Mike Aviles, and I asked him about it because this is his new manager, and last year Mike played for Bobby Valentine. He said it's night and day, the difference in style of managing and just their style of being around people. It's not a knock. He said they're just two different guys. He said in Francona's case, guys, he's so laid back, so we're going to see the easy ground ball, and they're the moose calls that HUD was looking for as Drew Stubbs is retired. But you know, he said he is so laid back, there's never any stress involving him, or at least he never shows any stress. So he said it makes us feel calm. It makes us feel like we can do the job, and he takes the pressure off of us. He said, for a guy like that, it makes me want to run through a wall for him any day of the week that he's my manager.
Yep, no question, Joel. And having a chance to play for Tito when his first year as a manager ever with the Phillies in 97 and 98 was really a great experience for me in my late 30s. Super guy. So in my second year of the 2-year deal, I'm so thankful I was able to get my 10 years in the majors. Okay, the day after my 10-year anniversary, I went into Terry Francona's office, which is always open. I said, Tito, I'm a fulfilled ball player today. And he said, really, HUD? What do you mean? I said, I want to thank you for the 2-year deal you guys gave me. After 10 years in the minors, 10 years in the majors was my goal. And now, yesterday was my 10-year anniversary. I want to say thank you. And you can do with me whatever you want. You can trade me if you can get a couple of cases of baseballs for me. You can send me to your minors. You know, this is in May. There's a lot of season left. Send me to the minors. I'll work with your young players. Or you can release me. And he goes, HUD, gosh, thanks for coming in, man. I had a lot of respect for you. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with you. You know, you're 38 and you're not so great, but thanks for coming in. And I took my jersey off and I gave it to him. And I said, when you give this jersey to the young punk, you make sure to tell him he could never take it from me. I'm giving it to him. Thank you. And I walked out. And 2 weeks later, they called me into the office and said, HUD, here's a check for what we owe you. We're going to send you packing. Thanks for being here. Just very classy guy. Very, very classy. And that check wasn't just a normal allowance check either, by the way.
It wasn't piggy bank money?
No. Matter of fact, I thank him all the time for the home he bought me.
4-pitch walk to Kipnis. That's what got the Royals started in the bottom of the second inning. A 4-pitch walk with 2 outs. And now Guthrie is getting into the middle of the Indians order with Asdrubal Cabrera coming up.
And, you know, he has expended 45 pitches, so they're working him a little.
I thought he really battled. That's a word that gets thrown around quite a bit, but I think it described Guthrie on Sunday in Game 2 of the day-night doubleheader last week. Remember, the Royals played that day-night doubleheader in Boston. Well, he pitched in Game 2 as he pitches Game 1 today. And it's not a great line. 4 runs, 9 hits in 9 innings, 4 walks. He was pitching out of the stretch all game. 4 of those walks turned into 2 runs, but he competed. And the Red Sox had big innings set up several times, but they just couldn't quite get through against Guthrie. And then the offense helped him out, tied the game in the 8th inning, and won the game in the 10th inning. Kipnis can run. He's 4 out of 4 in stolen base attempts. Look at that play by Salvador Perez. A backhand pick. I think that ball skipped off the plate.
He says, I dare you. Kipnis, he looks like to me he's trying to get a jump to run, but he's not sure. Look at that. Yeah, you're right, Ryan. He's got soft hands.
And now he is running. And from his knees, Perez guns him down. Wow. Your thoughts?
Thou shalt not steal on me. Out!
The Police Athletic League of the Kansas City Police Department. Shawnee volunteers her time to help underprivileged youth in Kansas City by coaching boxing. Shawnee has worked with young girls on their skills and confidence both in and outside of the ring and encourages them to be active no matter the sport. And sitting in the Buck O'Neil legacy seat at today's game with the Royals in front 2-0. And the top of the order coming up against Justin Masterson. Royals getting 2 last inning, and a rally that began with 2 outs and nobody on, as Masterson struck out the first 2 hitters, and then Moustakas walked on 4 pitches. Francoeur and Dyson both followed with RBI doubles. It was the second walk allowed by Masterson today. His first was to Alex. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You know, in between innings, Ryan, I had to get up and go over and talk to their television broadcaster, Rick Manning, about Salvi. There's a rare little backdoor slider. You see, that's an excellent pitch there, by the way. I had to just go over there and brag on Salvi. I said, have you ever seen anybody like that? He goes, yeah, Benito Santiago, but that's been 20 years ago. Every so often you get a catcher that comes in the league that can catch and throw like that. Just makes you want to go tell somebody, doesn't it?
Well, pretty soon we're not going to have to tell anybody. Everybody's going to know about it. Oh, 0-1 on Alcides Escobar.
Just the tremendous skills that he's been blessed with. And credit Dayton Moore for tying him up to about a 5 or 6 year deal, wasn't it?
6.
Thank you. Gordon, Escobar, long term. I don't think you're going to see guys skate like they used to in the past here. Okay, Masterson, he's definitely tricking him now.
Well, he started last inning with back-to-back strikeouts. And now he's gotten Alex and Escobar. And he has struck out 4. Billy grounded into a 6-4-3 double play to end the first inning. And a slider is in for a strike. 3 of the 4 strikeouts have been with that pitch, a slider. That's a tough pitch for a right-hand batter, especially with Masterson's arm angle. And then he comes back with a fastball like that just, it's like it has teeth on it. Just comes in and eats up a right-hand batter's hands.
You mentioned it. 6'6", 250. His lower body is extremely strong.
This time he strikes out the side. He has 5 in the game. At the end of 3, the Royals lead the Indians 2-0. Well, Viva Los Royals celebration. It'll be the Royals and the White Sox, and we hope you join us before the game for singing and dancing at the Outfield Experience, as well as a salsa contest featuring local Mexican restaurants showcasing their best recipes. Also, the first 10,000 fans will get a Royals cooler, courtesy of Sprint.
When is that?
It's a week from today.
Whoa, man. Salsa? Where do I line up for some of that?
Did you just listen to the promo?
I
said next Sunday. I said salsa in the Outfield Experience.
Oh, so
you want me to read it again?
I can't in the middle of the game leave though. Can I know there's some people that would like that, but man,
we'll get you out there before the game.
I love some great salsa.
See, I always thought the salsa contest was a dancing contest, and you know many people don't know this, but Joel is a world-class salsa dancer, and so I was always hoping that he'd get a chance to go out there and show the folks his stuff.
I did not know Goldie had those skills.
Cabrera was standing at the plate when Salvador Perez gunned down Kipnis from his knees. First time that Kipnis has been caught stealing this year, and he had 31 stolen bases last year. And I think he had a decent jump, too.
Yes, is there any chance we could see that again, guys? I mean, that never gets old. The momentum of the ball and where it's placed, Salvi decides he's just going to stay on his left knee and go forward. So it's like he loads. Watch him. Watch out. He's going to load and just leans into it with that big body. And he puts it on the perfect side of the base. Got him by plenty.
I don't think Escobar could have received that throw and not tagged out Kipnis. I mean, just put it right there.
I think Joel could have made that tag. Why are we on Joel today? I didn't know he was a salsa dancer, but we're going to have to get that on tape. Okay, it's worth another look from this angle. Look at the transfer from glove to hand. I mean, just thief-like. You can't even see it. Just quick. And the tag, all you got to do is apply it, pull the glove away.
Got him to chase a pitch down, and he golfs it out to Getz. One away. And a look at the Time Warner pitch speed comparison. And a good comparison. Masterson up to 95. Guthrie is up to 94 so far. And you can get downloads up to 50 megabits per second with Time Warner Cable Ultimate Internet. And now Nick Swisher, who grounded back to Guthrie in the first inning. Swisher has by far the most past experience of any Indian against Guthrie. Now 30 at bats. He's done quite well. 13 hits. Thought he had 14, but he hits it right to Dyson. That ball was sinking on Dyson. So it wasn't that routine, but he makes the play, 2 down.
Nope. You got to really watch that contact. And most of the time when a ball is hit on the line to center, it stays straight. But there's a little bit of wind that was pushing that away. So when you go to the corners, if the ball starts hooking, it's a little different angle.
Ball 1 to Reynolds. He popped to second, swinging at the first pitch in the second inning, and Getz made a nice running play out into shallow right field. You know, we mentioned about Reynolds going to the Indians to provide some pop. That's why the Orioles wanted him after starting his career with the Diamondbacks. And remember, when we were in Baltimore last year, he hit the ball into the upper deck in left field, and it was the first ball hit there since you hit one there. And there's the plaque.
Yeah, that's a beautiful plaque, by the way, isn't it? A paper plate. Oh, you guys are unbelievable.
The memorable home runs at Camden Yards have these nice bronze plaques with the name and the date and the distance. But you got a paper plate with a Sharpie.
That will explain everything about my career right there. But actually, that 684, that's not accurate. And it's not in an accurate
I
place.
thought it was June 8th
of 94.
And now Reynolds walks with 2 outs. That's Guthrie's second of the game. And now Santana, who just missed hitting a home run to center field his first time up. It hit the added edging of padding, which was added to the ballpark last year. So 2 years ago, that same ball that he hit would have gone over the wall for a home run.
Okay, he struck it well. Another inch.
And a curveball for a strike. Santana jumped back as if the pitch was way inside, and it just missed the inside edge. 1 ball, 1 strike. As excited as the Royals are about having Salvador Perez locked up to a long-term contract, the Indians did the same thing last year, right around the same time that Perez was signed to a long-term deal. The Indians signed Santana to a 5-year contract extension. And their playing abilities don't really mirror each other. Perez much more advanced defensively, and
just 22.
22 years old, and Santana more advanced offensively.
And he switch hits.
Good movement away from Santana. He strikes out. That's 3 for Guthrie and 4 scoreless innings. Bread. Try pasta the Panera way. Live consciously, eat deliciously. And by Steel, available exclusively at a servicing Steel dealer. Visit steeldealers.com. And by Ford, see the new F-150 at your Midwest Ford dealer today. Beautiful day in Kansas City. Great day to be outside and do anything today except ride that part of the carousel. It's a crime scene, apparently. But it's not going to keep the other kids from riding it. What was that?
It's a family Sunday. Well, look, right at them.
Boy, the Indians, I mean, they are set up perfect. Actually, it seems like Hosmer in 3 of his last 4 at-bats, they've only needed 1 guy on defense, and that's Cabrera playing up the middle. So Hosmer is 0 for 2. Hosmer hit 2 shots right at Cabrera last night, so the scouting report has been accurate for the Indians on Hosmer. And now Salvador Perez, he is 0 for 1. One ball, 1 strike.
Masterson, I'm surprised he didn't go in the NFL draft a few days ago, because as big as he is, make a heck of a tight end. I don't know about his running skills, but it's 6'6", 250. Be a pretty good target, wouldn't he?
That's the right size. Justin Masterson, born in Jamaica. And he strikes out Salvador Perez for a 2nd time, and now Masterson has 6 strikeouts, and all 6 of those coming in the last 3 innings. Well, if you're looking to collect all 3 of the Hot Dog Derby Bobble Dogs this summer, the new Bobble Dog Bundle ticket package is the best way to get your seat to the ketchup, mustard, and relish bobblehead games, all at a discount. Tickets start at just $33. 1-800-6-ROYALS for details. We have those bobbleheads up here in the booth. Inside ball 1 to Mike Moustakas. There was the
smaller dogs.
Yep. The junior hot dog derby, and it was just literally a runaway by Mustard. Masterson has thrown 6 pitches to Moustakas, none in the strike zone, and now make it 7. 3 balls and no strikes. And it was Moustakas who got that 2-run rally started with 2 outs and nobody on in the 2nd with a 4-pitch walk. And here we go again. 2 outs, nobody on in the 4th, and a 4-pitch walk. Well, there are some advantages to being a Royals broadcaster, and that means that you get an advance on the Bobble Dogs. So here they are right here. Not to be confused with bobbleheads, Bobble Dogs.
They're nice.
Yeah.
Look at them dancing up there for you.
And it was Mustard who took off today and won that race. So there you go. That's what they look like.
Beautiful.
So let's see if the pattern continues. In the 2nd, Moustakas walked, and then Francoeur doubled him home, and then Dyson doubled home Francoeur for the game's only 2 runs. And Francoeur's double came with 2 strikes.
Hey, Frenchie waited Masterson out. He got him a nice pitch on the inner half and hit it in the gap.
And that pitch stayed out over the plate, and Francoeur just hooked it foul. Still 0-2. Look out. One problem, one consistent problem for the Indians starting rotation this year has been walks turning into runs. And when Moustakas walked and scored in the second inning, that's the 21st time that a starter has walked a hitter and it's turned into a run. Off the plate, tough play for Cabrera. He'll barehand, no throw, and Francoeur is safe with an infield single.
Frenchie was digging for this. Oh, when that bounces off the plate, it's off to the races. Frenchie was digging. No play. Okay, off the plate, says, all right, I was off balance, but I'll turn that into a hit. Another 2-out Rowley, possibly. Dyson looked good his first at bat.
He tried to bunt his way on and laid down a pretty good bunt, but it just hit the edge of the grass and kicked to the left. So he decided to swing away and hit a solid double into the right field corner for his second RBI. And Dyson is 4 out of 7 against Masterson. So this was a good time to get Dyson into a game. Ned Yost announced that Lorenzo Cain will play the second game of the day-night doubleheader. And into shallow center field, a base hit. Dyson comes through again. So for the second time in 3 innings, the Royals begin with 2 outs and nobody on and come up with a run. Dyson has driven in 2 today.
And it's with those 6, 7, and 8 guys. Same thing. Okay, that's a ball out over the plate. Jammed him, but he had a good level swing and it's able to keep it up the middle. Like Frenchie taking third. Mickey Callaway, first-year pitching coach for Terry Francona, is going to make his way to the mound here and talk to Masterson about, gosh, let's see if we can get out of this inning here with Getz.
And when you're the pitching coach, you're responsible for the whole pitching staff. But if there are 2 guys that the Indians really need, it's Masterson and Ubaldo Jimenez. And here's Masterson's previous 3 seasons: 2010, 6-13. 2011, he turned that around. He went 12-10, really cut his ERA down, and the Indians felt like, okay, he's on his way, an ace in the making. And then went backward last year, 11-15, with an ERA of almost 5, and now off to a great start this year.
Royals will see Ubaldo tomorrow.
And now Dyson, man, what a jump. And the Indians didn't even bother to cover. If Santana had thrown that ball, it would have gone right out into center field and nowhere near either the second baseman or the shortstop.
So with a chance here for Getzy just to try to just make some contact and find a hole would really hurt Masterson.
And he bunts, but he bunts it in the air, and it's played by Reynolds. So he had the right idea, just couldn't get it on the ground. So for the second time today, 2 outs and nobody on hasn't deterred the Royals. That's how they've scored all 3 of their runs. Royals history, 16 consecutive starts without a defeat. Paul Splittorff, that great Royals year of 1977, spread out over 77 and 78. And Jeremy Guthrie right now at 15 and a 3-0 lead as he pitches in the top of the 5th inning as we welcome in Royals Hall of Famer Jeff Montgomery. And what have you seen specifically from Guthrie today that stands out?
I think one thing that's been really good about him is his ability to locate all of his pitches. That's always a key for him. I know his last game in Boston, he maybe was off a little bit, but today he's kind of gotten right back into his good precision. I think that's the key for any pitcher, but especially a guy like Guthrie. Not an overpowering guy, but he can get overpowering results with that command.
You brought up that Boston game, and I don't know if you're listening when Hud and I were talking about it. But he really, it's not a line that you look at after the game, you go, boy, he really pitched well. But in some ways, it didn't look like he had his A game, but he did, quote, pitch well, because the Red Sox, they had things lined up for a big inning all night and just couldn't come through.
Right, he made huge pitches in really big situations, and that's a sign of of an ace, a gamer out there, and we've seen a number of guys over the years that have it, but Jeremy Guthrie, since he came here, I believe it was August 3rd last year, he's gone out every time. He's given his team a chance to win. They're 13-2 in those starts that he's made, so he's doing exactly what his manager looks for.
Rayburn strikes out for a second time, and that's 4 for Guthrie. And let's take a look at today's Monty's moment.
Ryan, another thing that makes him so effective, he is a complete pitcher. He fields his position well. They work on this all spring training, but he's over getting on a tough play, holding the runners on, giving his catcher a chance to throw out runners, and then doing some things himself. So Jeremy Guthrie, just an ultimate pro out there, does it all.
The easy answer when asked about why the Royals pitching has improved this year is that they have better starting pitchers, that they've improved the talent. And I think still that's oversimplifying. There's also a mentality that's different. You and I have been watching this team. Well, you've been watching as long as I've been watching it, the last 15 years. There's a different fight. There's like the game that Guthrie pitched at Boston, or the few games that Santana had where he gave up runs earlier. James Shields, that game in Philadelphia when he gave up 4 in the first inning. It's not just talent. There's a different mentality too. You agree with that?
Well, they fight and they go out there, and every night they feel like they have a chance to win a ball game, and it spills over. And we use the word contagious in baseball a lot, and I just think it starts with James Shields at the top of the rotation. It just trickles down to all the starting pitchers, and it's a good thing when you have that so far. Deep in your rotation, when you got all 4 or 5 guys that are going out there on a regular basis, giving your team a chance to win, and each guy expects to do exactly what the guy before him did, and maybe better him. So it spills over, and it's contagious, and it's a very good thing to have.
All right, I want to ask both of you guys questions because you both played 10 or more years in the big leagues, and these terms are thrown around a lot, but I want you to explain them. Hud, let's begin with you. Hitting is contagious. How does hitting become, quote, contagious?
It's because the first guy, maybe the pitcher's been dealing, but the first guy goes up there and gets a clean base hit. And the next guy goes, all right, hey, I can get him too. Okay, there's a clean base hit. We'll see if it's contagious with one out here with Cleveland. But, okay, now the next guy comes up and he goes, all right, I got a little pattern here. And then he puts a good at-bat on and gets a base hit. So now the next guy goes, wow, okay, if those 2 guys can do it, I know I can. We're finding a little hole in him here. And so that's what I mean. It's contagious. Same way with starting pitching. After one start, the next start, the next start. Hitters are the same.
So what you're saying is when it's contagious, a hitter feels like he has the pitcher beat before he even gets in the batter's box.
Right. I'm going to get him now. My turn.
And Monty, now you don't have guys following one another in sequence when you're a pitcher like hitters do. One guy comes up, the next guy comes up. For pitchers, it's day to day. How does that become contagious?
Right, I look at it, it's like the chain is only as strong as the weakest link. And when you have everyone putting up strong performances, there's an expectation that everyone who follows him has to carry his weight and make sure that chain does not break. And again, like I know for sitting in that bullpen, you see a guy come in a 6th or 7th inning, does a job, and then the guy comes in a 7th or 8th and does a job. You feel, hey, I gotta make sure that this chain doesn't break here. And again, I think it spills over. So
you got Guthrie right now. He's competing against the Indians, but at the same time in a friendly sort of way he's competing against James Shields and Irvin Santana and Wade Davis.
Especially Irvin Santana going out last night and throwing such a good game. Now he's following it up with a good game of his own.
Okay, there's Dave Island. Dave Island is thrilled with what's going on so far. And, man, isn't he a much better pitching coach this year than he was last year?
It's amazing. Win those races with good horses.
Well, Dave Island, we'll look at this last pitch.
Oof, man, that's a hard-born sinker that missed somewhere.
Dave Island was pitching coach of the Yankees when Jeremy Guthrie was pitching for the Orioles. And so you don't just watch your own guys, but every now and then you'll watch the other team's guys. 3-2 now on Stubbs. And you hear it from time to time, and I don't know if this was Dave Island's exact words, but I've heard coaches over the years say to me privately about a player in another team, boy, I wish I could get my hands on that guy. I think I've got something that would work for him. Well, he had that feeling about Jeremy Guthrie, and as fate would have it, they both ended up with the Royals last year. Dave Island got his chance, and Guthrie hasn't been the same pitcher since in a good way as the Royals get Chisenhall at second, but Stubbs beats a throw to first.
Well, I know last year in the middle of the summer we were talking about the Royals had lost Danny Duffy and Felipe Paulino, and their rotation was very thin. And I remember talking a lot about Dave Island mentioned Jeremy Guthrie's name a number of times about it being that guy, and sure enough, it materialized, and the Royals were fortunate to make that trade, I believe, on July 20th of last year.
And Dave went to work, broke down the film, said, hey, look, I've watched you for a long time. Let's try to get a little hip turn. Let's get something different. Create some different angles. Let's make it look different. And to Guthrie's credit, he was a veteran guy who was willing to make some adjustments.
And remember, his first start or two, we didn't see the same Jeremy Guthrie we saw toward the end of the season. What we've seen so far this year, he was still working on those tweaks and those adjustments that Dave Island recommended, but he finally got it going. And again, after his second or third start, he's been nailed for the Royals.
And fans ask, what's the difference between coaching in the minor leagues and in the big leagues? In the minor leagues, Dave Island might have gone right to Jeremy Guthrie and said, here's what I'd like you to try. In the big leagues, kind of wait for the veteran to come to the coach. And Dave Island did that with Guthrie, just waited a couple of starts. Guthrie went to him, and a magical conversation began between Guthrie and Dave Island. 3-0 Royals to the bottom of the fifth. This is yesterday's 7-4 Tigers win, and Omar Infante with a home run off of Chris Medlin. And the Tigers have won 2 straight. The Braves have lost 3 in a row, and they've lost 7 of their last 10 after getting off to that great start. And the Tigers keep pace with the Royals. 1 game back in the Central Division. Minnesota is 2 back. Royals will have 2 intra-divisional series during this homestand. 4 with the Indians And then after the Rays come to town for 3, the White Sox will be here next weekend. That is a foul ball. And 1-1 on Alex Gordon, who has walked and struck out against Masterson. Jeff Montgomery joining us here in the booth. Tim Belcher, the former Royals pitcher, and he was Cleveland Indians pitching coach for a while. And he really helped out Justin Masterson. We showed you last inning 2 years ago. Masterson had an excellent season for Cleveland. And Paul Splittorff taught me that most pitching coaches teach basically the same thing, but they use different wording. And sometimes just a way that one pitching coach suggests something, it resonates with a pitcher. And it's kind of funny, but Tim Belcher told Masterson, a big guy with a great arsenal of pitches who wasn't throwing enough strikes, he said, okay, here's what I want you to do this year. I want you to throw the little white thing over the big white thing. Don't worry about movement. Don't worry about corners. Don't worry about trying to hit the edge of the strike zone. Just focus on putting the little white thing over the big white thing. And he took off.
Well, it was an amazing thing. In fact, when I was talking to Belcher a couple of years ago about Masterson, he said they were actually contemplating making him a closer because he had that, that we call it the lead pipe sinker, this sinker that just, won't stop. And but he eventually got it going, and they needed starting pitching, and he has materialized into, one of the top guys, obviously for the Indians, but now all of baseball so far this season.
That's his 7th strikeout.
Look at that arm angle. He's able to get some pretty good sink underneath Gordon's bat.
And while we have Monty in the booth, we'll cover today's Sprint Unlimited Answers question. Who's been the biggest bat in April? Well, there's a big bat. Pretty good timing with that. Escobar into the corner for his 3rd home run of the year.
I know who I'm voting. Escobar. What a some kind of production Ned's getting out of that 2-hole from number 2. Recognizes it's a pitch he can handle. Gets some back underside with a little bit of spin. Ball carried right out over that line. Over that, just inside of the pole.
Masterson, a tough guy with that sinker to hit a home run against, but Alcides Escobar gets a 4-seamer up in a strike zone, and he did not miss it.
That was also the 500th career hit for Alcides Escobar. Billy today has grounded into a double play and struck out against Masterson. Very high in the air into right center. Stubbs has to fight the sun a bit, but makes the play for the 2nd out. So anyway, biggest bat in April, Alex Gordon. The best right now with runners in scoring position in the league. Alcides Escobar with his home run. He has an 8-game hitting streak now. Billy Butler leading the team in RBIs, and Lorenzo Cain's really been the best overall hitter for the Royals so far. Combination of power, average, speed. Strike 1-2, Eric Hosmer.
Esky's been pesky.
And now 0-2 on Hosmer.
It's great when you have that many choices to make and you can't be wrong with any of them. I like Alex, the fact that only 1 game this year he's not reached base, and all those, I think it was 11 games he's been on multiple times, just really having quite an April.
Monty, while we still have you, let's go back to our conversation we had about pitching being contagious. Now you have Will Smith going in game 2, and he's the first call-up, first replacement guy to get a start.
Monty, your thoughts?
How does he feel?
He's going to be feeling much more confident this time around than he did last year at this time.
Well, stick around. Let's finish that conversation in the next half inning. 4-0 Royals on Alcides Escobar's 3rd home run and 500th career hit. Ford. For the best deals on new Ford cars and trucks, visit thoroughbredford.com today. Alcides Escobar with his third home run. The power is coming slowly but surely. The Royals have now hit 9 home runs in their last 9 games. And they've given Jeremy Guthrie a 4-0 lead. So far, the Indians have 3 hits against Guthrie, 2 singles and a double. Guthrie has walked 2. Into shallow left field. And Alex makes the play. Jason Kipnis is 0 for 2 with a walk. Here's today's AT&T trivia question. Who are the last 3 managers to win a World Series in their first year with the team?
I think I know one.
Who's yours, Monty? And I might know another one.
Pinstripes.
Okay.
Joe Torre?
How about?
No?
How about Girardi?
How about Bob Brenly?
Good one.
Girardi comes to mind to me.
Okay.
And
was 09 his first year with the Yankees?
How about Ozzie?
I think Ozzie had been there.
Okay.
That'll drop for a base hit. Cabrera has a couple of bloop hits today. 1 on, 1 out.
Okay, how's Will Smith feeling right now after this string of great starting pitching?
Rex, he knows what he's getting himself into. He knows he's got a pretty big end of the bargain to hold up here. Watching these guys the last couple nights, the way they've thrown a baseball, but he's thrown the ball well in AAA. I go back to last year. He made his first start against the Yankees, and it was a disaster. I think he gave up 5 runs in 3 1/3 innings or something. But he came back against these same Cleveland Indians. His next start was a different pitcher. Really did a great job with his curveball. I think that curveball was a real key for him in that game, and he got his first major league win. So, he's made the adjustments to be an effective pitcher, and we'll see second game tonight how he does.
Now, we look for a shot of him in the dugout. Typically, the guy who starts the next day is inside charting, and they call that he's keeping score, but he's watching our feed, and he's keeping track of their hitters, so he has a better idea how to pitch them in this next game coming up. But Will, no pressure, big fella. We're pulling for you.
2-1 on Swisher. And Ned Yost was asked about, why Will Smith, which isn't a difficult question to answer because he's pitching well at Omaha and he's pitched in the big leagues. But Ned pointed out if the Royals hadn't added so many starting pitchers during the offseason, he probably would have made the opening day rotation. And he pitched very well in spring training.
And Will Smith was a guy that every time he went out last year, he seemed to gain more confidence and to improve. And, Rex, that's part of becoming a big leaguer. It's just learning from your experience at this level and eventually becoming a guy that contributes.
I like how you got a sinker, you pound the strike zone, and don't give the hitters too much credit. Just let them hit it at somebody.
And now Swisher walks. So Guthrie, who's pitched 5 1/3 scoreless, and the Indians really haven't been able to do much against him. The one thing that might be working against him now would be his pitch count. So you go back to some longer innings earlier in the game, and now he's moving up on 100 pitches. And now a lot of power coming up with Reynolds to the plate. 7 home runs, and after him Santana, who has 4 home runs and hitting about .350. Reynolds has popped to second and he has walked. And a slider just missed outside for ball 1.
He's hoping that Reynolds is trying to pull the ball, so he's going to keep that ball down and away from him. That's what he wanted on that one. That's just barely missed. That's right where you want to keep it on him.
At the knees for a strike, 1-1. And those 2 plate appearances for Reynolds today are his first 2 against Guthrie. Cabrera's at second. He reached on a bloop single. Swisher at first, reached on a walk. Great pitch. 1-2.
He continues to pound that strike zone on the outside. Like you say, Rex, you don't want to let a guy like this hurt you on a pitch that you're trying to come in, and it leaks back to the middle of the plate. Suddenly you got a tie baseball game. Or, I'm sorry, it's 4-3 game.
But they're back in it. Don't let him in with one swing. I'm with you. Right. If he tries to pull that outside pitch, more times than not, he hit a grounder somebody. How about that?
Escobar gets high throw to Hosmer, who's down on the bag in front of Reynolds. Second straight game that the Royals defense has come up with a big double play. 4-0 KC. In contestant is Gary Adams from Lenexa, Kansas. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Gary wins $2,100. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Gary wins $25,000 from Sonic and the Royals. And it'll be Salvador Perez, who homered last night, Mike Moustakas, who hit 20 last year for the Royals, and Jeff Francoeur, who's 2 for 2 today. Sal hacking at the first pitch and fouls it away. He's had a bad time so far against Masterson with 2 strikeouts. Masterson has struck out 8, but the Royals have tagged him for 4 runs over the first 5 innings. And he came into the game today with the 6th best ERA in the league. In his first 5 starts, he allowed 2 earned runs or less in 4 of those 5 starts, and 1 earned run or less in 3 out of 5. So he had been dominant, but the Royals have had his numbers so far today. Royals got 2 in the second inning with 2 outs and nobody on. Francoeur and Dyson ended up with RBI doubles. In the 4th inning with 2 outs and nobody on, Dyson again drove in a run. And both of those rallies began with a 2-out walk. And then Escobar hit a solo home run in the 5th. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Perez.
Okay, not too many hitters are thrilled with the 2 strikeouts looking into the 3rd one. So Salvi he just wants to put the ball in play. He wants to stay away from the hat trick.
And Cabrera will throw him out, 1 down. All right, let's answer our AT&T trivia question for today. who are the last 3 managers to win a World Series in their first year with the team? You said Bob Brenly. I said Joe Torre.
Yeah, and Monty said Girardi.
Terry Francona, 2004. Mike Moustakas, that feels good. He's been on base 3 times today, 2 walks, and now a single into right center field. To a chorus of Moose calls. Jack McKeon, he took over in the middle of the season that year for Jeff Torborg. Good call with Brenly.
Yeah, imagine Francona and that Red Sox. Hadn't won in what, 100-something years? They'll never forget him there.
86 years, I believe.
Okay.
Fouled away by Francoeur, who has 2 hits, an RBI, and a run scored.
You know, when he was in Boston, you know how passionate it is there and how these people, you know, really love their Red Sox. Terry Francona said he would cringe whenever he came to a stop sign or a stoplight and look over at the people next to him, and if they recognized him, there was all kinds of gestures and things that were given to Tito. So he said that was the most uncomfortable situation in Boston, was just driving on the streets. I don't know about him, but I probably would just get tinted windows in my car. That would put an end to that.
And Francoeur strikes out. That's 9 for Masterson. 2 down in the 6th inning.
You know, the 2 walks by Moose, those are important. Even though they were 4 straight balls every time up in the 2 times. He's seeing more pitches. He's getting a little bit more comfortable. And then for that, just that little nice little easy base hit there, they really are counting on Moose to come out of his little early season funk. And that'll help him, the walks.
Dyson into center field. Stubbs makes the play. That's the first time Dyson has been retired. He has driven in 2. Royals are scoreless in the 6th and have a 4-0 lead over the Indians. Fox Sports Kansas City is brought to you by Jeep. Visit Jeep.com today. An all-around good day for the Royals. The weather, the crowd, and a 4-0 lead to the 7th inning. Jeremy Guthrie has pitched 6 scoreless. He is at 100 pitches. But Ned Yost is not concerned at the moment. Nobody is throwing behind him. And with the day-night doubleheader, and the Royals are in a part of the schedule now where all of those days off and postponements are going away, and they have very few off days coming up over the next, well, over a month. So he'd like to get as much as he can out of Guthrie today, who is still strong. Got into a little bit of trouble in the 6th inning with 1 out, gave up a bloop single and a walk, but then got Reynolds to ground into a double play.
You know, the pace of the game, the tempo, starting pitching sets the tone for all of that. And it's been so much more relaxing than just a year ago. You know, pins and needles all the time. We were wondering, man, you know, I wonder if he's going to get in trouble in this inning. And you wonder if he's going to walk him. You know, it just really relieves the stress from the fans. And the fans are really appreciating this homestand. You know, in yesterday's game, good crowd, 20,000 plus. I'm sure when the weather starts getting better, these fans are going to come to appreciate. They already love good baseball the way it's played, and an exciting product that they have on the field this year that management has provided for them. Should be a banner summer with starting pitching. Keep you away from losing streaks, continues winning streaks. And you got a bullpen down there that's loaded with talent.
And now Santana backs out. The Royals are in a stretch of games right now where they will play 20 in 21 days. Then they play 17 in a row. Then they have a day off and they play 16 in a row. 5 strikeouts for Guthrie in his second against Santana, 1 down in the 7th.
And if you mention that to players about, oh, we got a pretty good size workload coming up. You see Guthrie here, he loads with that lower half and he comes out of there with a nice angle. His form is perfect, really solid mechanics, staying down in the zone, working ahead. But if you mention to the players about the workload coming up, they're saying, oh, it's about time. We want to play that many in a row. Now, if you mention that to them in September, that's a little different story. They're like, whoa, sure would like to have a breather. But the way things have gone early in this one, they're welcoming all them games.
Rayburn has struck out twice against Guthrie, and now a shot up the middle for a base hit. It's another 6 innings at least for a Royals starter tonight. And so you just add to the impressive numbers, at least 6 innings in 10 of the last 11 and in 17 of the 21 games this year. The Royals starters have gone at least 6 innings, and 12 of those, we'll see how Guthrie finishes up, but 12 of those have been the so-called quality starts. At least 6 innings and 3 earned runs or less allowed. Chisenhall fouls it off to the left field side, and that will be in the seats. Chisenhall is 1 for 2, and now Tim Collins begins to throw in the Royals bullpen, as Guthrie is now moving up on 110 pitches. His longest outing of the year is 7 innings. That was in Atlanta. And his season high for pitches is 112, and that was his last start. 1-1 on Chisenhall. And through the right side, a base hit. Rayburn stops at second. And the Indians have 2 on with 1 out. Second hit today for Chisenhall.
Okay, talking about Guthrie's form, watch him. He loads up with his lower half, brings that in. His hands separate as his legs come down right over the mound. Watch his fielding position, okay? He lets go of his pitch and look at that. Textbook. He's ready to field. He's not off balance. He's in perfect control of himself.
Drew Stubbs has grounded out twice. And Guthrie got out of a similar situation last inning by getting a ground ball from Reynolds, which resulted in a double play.
Stubbs runs pretty well. He might be a little bit tougher to double up, but still, whenever you're having sinkers like that and sliders away, those are tough for hitters to get underneath. So you hit the top half of that ball lots of times. So he's inducing those grounders.
Moustakis had to wait for the second hop, and a nice play by Getz to keep his foot on the bag, and the Royals get one out.
Okay, the way that ball was hit, Moose just needs to concentrate on getting one like he did. Now he was a little bit quick trying to see if he could get to, but see a speedy runner like that, you got to know the runner. There's no way. So Getzey does a great job of saving him there. If that ball gets by him, that opens up a floodgate there. So nice job by Getzey to save Moose. And Guthrie, go ahead and soak it up. It's well deserved.
Tips his cap to the nice ovation. Another great start by a Royals starter, and now a Chevy call to the bullpen. Tim Collins comes on with a man on and 2 outs. Works of the season on Friday. That's May 3rd against the White Sox. It's also a Buck Night. Hot dogs, peanuts, and small soft drinks are just $1. And then fireworks after the game, courtesy of Hy-Vee and Pepsi. Royals.com or 1-800-6-ROYALS for tickets. Now, Jeremy Guthrie cannot lose this game, so he ties the team record. 16 consecutive starts without a defeat, tying Paul Splittorff's record from the 1977 and 1978 teams. And the Royals are second only to the Rays in the American League with 17 starts of at least 6 innings from their rotation. And Brantley going the other way against Tim Collins. Alex Gordon makes the play, so it's 7 scoreless innings from Guthrie and Collins. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium, and a lot to cheer about today. The Royals lead 4-0. The kids out here today on a family fun day Sunday, and that will be the case on Thursday afternoon with the Royals and the Rays. That's an afternoon game at 1 o'clock. It's Educational Day at the K. Kids will be taking a field trip out here. They'll learn about the weather with meteorologist Mike Thompson and the Fox 4 weather team. The demonstrations begin at 10 a.m. and then the 1 o'clock game with the Rays. And all students in schools can get tickets at royals.com/school day. While we have a moment, you can see on the top of the screen there some details about the Royals broadcast auction. It's always a lot of fun as we go back and forth between the game and rivals. We go over the different items that will be auctioned for Royals charities. We've got a list of the items here and some very original entries for the 2013 version, including playing video games with Eric Hosmer and Mike Moustakas for 45 minutes before a game. 2 kids, ages 5 to 15. And that includes Diamond Club tickets, a parking pass, an autographed bat from those 2. How about that?
And I understand that's in the clubhouse.
In the clubhouse.
So your young kids will get a chance to go play video games for 45 minutes with Moose and Haas. Are you kidding? What a privilege that is to go in the clubhouse. That's where that's their home, away from the field.
Never had that one before.
Okay. Going to Worlds of Fun with Bruce Chin's on there. How about
I'll sign up for that.
The one I like is the private fielding lessons from Alex Gordon, 2-time Gold Glover. That's a memorable moment to never forget.
If you want to look at all the items in detail, just go to Royals.com. Of course, there's dinner with George Brett.
Wow.
And normally that's here at the ballpark. They'll get in a suite. But this time, George is going to be on location for that dinner with the date to be agreed upon at a later time. Gets to Cabrera. That ball flattened out on him and went under his glove. That could be a base hit. That
should be.
It was a bad hop.
Yeah, I mean, that's a base hit.
And it is a base hit.
Yeah, Getsy can run too, so you got to put that in the equation there. Okay, also in that auction item with Bruce Chin going to Worlds of Fun. Look, yeah, it hit the lip. It hit that grass and the dirt right there, and it stayed down on Cabrera. So, okay, there's Bruce out there in the pin for 2. You also get to cut in line. They give you a pass that you can go ahead of everybody and ride all the rides with that guy, and he's a character and a lot of fun. Thank you, Bruce, for donating your time for that. We heard it was his idea even.
Ball 1-2, Alex Gordon.
These players are fresh. These Royals guys. Fans should be really proud of what they support out here because they're classy, they're not arrogant, they're very humble, and they understand it's all about the people and the fans.
And a base hit into center field for Alex Gordon. Getz got a good break. He'll go first to third and will beat the throw from Stubbs, and that's the 12th game for Alex Gordon where he's been on base at least 2 times.
Okay, love the speed. It's nice to see Getz get on base with a base hit. Look at him. He can read that. He doesn't need a third base coach to tell him to go. With that kind of speed, happy to see Getsy get going. You know, just after a 2 for 21 on the road trip, including an 0 for 13 slide, nice to see Getsy get out there on them bases and run them.
So first and third, nobody out for Escobar, who homered his last time up. And he gets a ground ball to the right side. No double play, a run scores, and the Royals lead 5-0. So they haven't had a big inning, but just a little here and a little there. and a 5-0 lead in the bottom of the 7th. Escobar has driven in 2 today. And both Escobar and Gordon were part of our Sprint Unlimited Answers question. Biggest bat in April, 59% going with Alex Gordon.
Yeah, hard to vote against that. Escobar having to hit a home run when the question was up, and I went with Esky. Production from anywhere from 1 through 9 pleases Ned.
Billy is 0 for 3 against Masterson. And he is now at 100 pitches. When the Royals score 5 or more runs this year, they are 5-1. Way outside and past Santana. And Escobar round second. He was thinking about third. He went about a third of the way. And he will hold on the wild pitch.
I'll say, yeah, that was way in that left-handed batter's box. And Esky says, you know what, I might, but no, I think I won't. With one out here and Billy up, there's no need in running into an out.
And a couple of guys are ready to go in the bullpen. Left-hander is Scott Barnes on the right. So he might come in to face Eric Hosmer, who's on deck. Almost hit him. 2 balls and 1 strike. Five runs is the most that Justin Masterson has allowed this year. He gave up 4 runs 2 starts ago. Every other start has been 2 runs or less. And now the Royals nail him for 5 in 6 1/3 innings. 3-1 on Billy. Full count.
You know, I was talking about how classy these ball players are. Example today, the Royals didn't hit on the field with the long day-night doubleheader. Okay, there's a few fans down there, and they were watching Cleveland hit, and I walked by, and they said, "Hey, Hud, how you doing? Nice to see you." Everything, and it was a lady's birthday, and she had a Billy Butler jersey on. She goes, "Oh, I sure would love to just get a picture with Billy." And
just like that?
Yeah, and so I knew that Billy was just underneath the tunnel down there, and I said, "Hold on a second, I'll see if Billy's busy." I walked down there and said, "Hey, Billy, there's a fan out here. Would love to have a picture with you." "Oh, sure, Hud." He walks out, hugs the lady, wishes her a happy birthday, gets a picture with her, and that lady thought she just saw John Lennon of the Beatles, man. She just thought, oh, so her day was made. That's how easy it can be for players.
Now we're assuming that she liked John Lennon and the Beatles, right?
Well, I'm just saying that as an example. You know, a rock star. I mean, you know, she thought Billy was a rock star. He is, if you ask him.
There are some players like Billy Butler, they just get it. Hosmer into right field for a base hit. Escobar will be waved home, and the throw from right deflects off of Reynolds' glove, so Escobar scores easily. Hosmer drives in his 8th, and the Royals lead Masterson and the Indians 6-0.
Okay, that's what they're looking for in that 4-hole. Somebody to drive in some runs. And when they're out there, be ready. Fastball right down the middle at 94. He didn't miss it. Good stroke. He pulled it, too. He's been hitting a lot of balls to the opposite field. And Billy, who usually goes station to station, thought about going to third on this one here as it got away from cutoff man.
So Terry Francona makes the move after the Royals add 2 in the 7th inning. Matt Albers is the Chevy call to the bullpen. Royals Player of the Month, sponsored by Majestic and Rally House. Vote at Rally House stores and get a chance to go on field and meet the winning player. Eric Hosmer drives in his 8th of the year and gives the Royals a 6-0 lead, and Terry Francona brings in Matt Albers. And Albers pitched the bottom of the 8th inning last night. Terry Francona used 7 pitchers in last night's game, including his starter. 0-1 on Salvador Perez. On one hand, 0 for 3 at the plate with a couple of strikeouts. On the other hand, he's been behind the plate for 7 scoreless innings. 6 2/3 from Jeremy Guthrie, and Tim Collins got the final out of the 7th.
Albers is similar to Masterson with the arm angle. Hey, that hit him. He's got a little sink that goes in. You know, that one got in too far. He's got a little slider he'll use. I wouldn't think that Ned will start Salvador Perez in game 2, would you?
Well, our own Nate Bukaty tried to get that out of him before the game today, and Ned having some fun and not wanting to tip his hand, but hinted that it would probably be Kataris in game 2.
Yeah, they gotta let George in there.
So Mike Moustakas with the bases loaded. And that rides outside for ball 1. Moustakas in his final at bat on Thursday in Detroit finished a miserable road trip with a double, solid double to right field. And now today he has 2 4-pitch walks. He scored both times, and he is singled. And now ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
Hey, he's being more selective. He's starting to feel better about himself. Hit here will really make him feel good. Even if he hits something hard.
The Royals have really had a knack over the past week, taking a bases loaded walk late in the game. Did it again last night. Eric Hosmer, which ended up being a big run. And in the games before that, bases loaded walks in the 10th inning.
Hitting .304 as a team with them loaded up this year with 2 slams. Had 1 all last year. Came from Moose's bat.
3-1.
That's a good take. 3-0. There's no need in hacking. You're in the same situation here now. Albers does not want to give him anything middle in because he knows Moose wants to turn and burn on one. So he's going to try to throw exactly the same pitch he just threw to Moose there.
He walks for a third time and gets an RBI. So Billy, who reached for the walk, comes down to score. Hosmer goes to third, Perez to second. RBI number 2 for Moustakas.
4 times in 1 week we've seen bases loaded walks by Royals hitters. That's really amazing. Typically, guys want to hit in those situations, so they're swinging. They want to knock in some runs, but the plate discipline has been impressive. Pass the baton on to the next guy. If he doesn't give you a good pitch to hit in that at bat, heck, don't think you got to do it yourself. There's a lot of guys that are capable there. So good day for Moose.
And now they're loaded up for Francoeur with only 1 out. And Francoeur has 2 hits already today. And a slash foul into the upper deck. Royals scored 2 in the second, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and now 3 in the seventh for a 7-0 lead. One ball, 1 strike. One and 2. And Francoeur is driven in 1 of the runs. Both of his hits today came with 2 strikes. Got the corner. Well, it started outside. Did it clip the corner?
Yeah, a little bit too close to take. Frenchie got caught looking.
And now Dyson, who has driven in 2. Well, Dyson and Escobar have driven in 2 runs today. Dyson with a double in the second inning and a single in the fourth.
Okay, Gerard working overtime, working that swing, slapping that ball to left field, trying to play Pepper with the third baseman, pulling some when he can, using the whole field. You know, when he keeps having games like this and he comes in late and steals, you got to give him some playing time. Been very productive.
Brantley waiting for it in left field, and that's the inning. Royals bat 9 in the 7th inning. RBIs for Escobar, Hosmer, and Moustakas.
struggle as R.A. Dickey gives up a key 2-run homer. And the Jays now 9-17. Houston getting ripped again by Boston. Tampa Bay and Chicago right now tied at 3. Justin Morneau with his second home run, and the Twins all over Texas. Ron Gardenhire, though, still got tossed in this one. Baltimore and Oakland just underway. Our Mazda game break takes us to Chicago, and Matt Joyce against Dylan Axelrod. Love the old White Sox uniforms, but they won't be liking this as Joyce goes deep for his 4th on the year. Again, that game is tied. Let's clear up a couple of other things. 1, world-class salsa, Ryan. That's Salsa Eater. And 2, Hud. Uncle Hud, the kids want to know, who's John Lennon?
Well, John Lennon was one of the 4 most famous rock stars, I think, in the world ever. The Beatles. Okay, you can Google the Beatles and you'll see John Lennon was one of the most talented musicians in the world, no question at that time. And they were holding concerts all over the world, and people couldn't contain themselves. And I was comparing Lennon to Billy Butler in a way. So Google the Beatles, young people, and they'll tell you all about those stars and who they were.
There you have it. Didn't you eat a beetle in St. Louis? Or was that a June bug? Or is that the same thing?
No, a June bug is a delicacy overseas.
Okay.
And people just don't have the courage to eat one here to find out. Dip it in chocolate, you got yourself a great dessert.
Luke Hochevar getting some work as he comes on in a 7-0 game in the 8th inning. That's the second time in 2 years the Royals have had a game against Justin Masterson where they have scored 7 runs. On the other side, Jeremy Guthrie, 6 2/3 scoreless. Tim Collins got the final out of the 7th. And now 3-2 on Kipnis, who is 0 for 2 with a walk. Fastball 96 miles an hour to strike out Kipnis.
Ooh, man. Nice to see Ned bringing in Hoach, and Hoach airing it out. Didn't want to lose him by a walk, so he challenged him. When you have that hard a fastball that moves like that, and tough opponent to try to hit. Bruce Chin and Luke Hochevar were the 1 and 2 starters last season. This year they're long men in the pen to win.
2 hits for Cabrera, both bloop base hits, and he has hit in 6 in a row, still batting at just 183, and he takes ball 1. Royals played very well against the Indians last year. They won the season series. They went 10-8. That's notable because the Cleveland Indians had won 8 straight season series against the Royals. And they were headed for a 9th straight. As Cabrera whacks it into right field for a hit. Francoeur is on it. Cabrera wants 2. And Francoeur's throw is right on the bag, but Cabrera gets his foot in front.
Shame on Frenchie. He's been waiting all year for a guy to take an extra base on him. 2, 3 hopper in a row. Now he's going to plant and throw. And look at that. Not even seeing it. He just throws it. And just, if he would have been on the first base side of the bag, he would have gotten him.
So it's a 3-hit game for Cabrera, and now Hochevar will get Nick Swisher. So anyway, after 8 consecutive winning season series against the Royals. The Indians won the first 4 games between the two teams last year. But then the Royals won 10 of the next 14. And with last night's win, the Royals have won 11 of their last 15 games against the Indians. And now the 7-0 lead in the 8th inning today. No balls, 2 strikes on Swisher.
Swisher doesn't just have a shin guard on, he has a whole foot in shin guard, covering his whole foot.
Blocked by Perez. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Now, Lou Kochaver knew it would be a challenge moving to the bullpen. Just the different routine, not knowing when he was going to pitch. As a starter, he knows it's every 5 days. He can have his routine the way he wants before every start. And now a completely different challenge with the starters pitching as many innings, and with all the off days, he's trying to find a way to stay sharp. This is only his 5th appearance of the season. And he has 2 strikeouts in the inning.
All right, let's check out the defense. Guthrie was great, but he's setting his defense up for these plays right here. Hosmer saved a run early. Okay, Salvi guns down Kipnis. Thought he had a good jump, and he's got to go back to the pine. Okay, watch this nice little double play, a pitcher's friend. Nice. 4-6-3, forward play of the game. The defense, marvelous.
Fouled away by Reynolds. And he was the one who hit into that double play in the 6th inning. Otherwise, he has walked and popped to second. Second game of the day-night doubleheader at 7:10. And no television coverage, as Will Smith will make his first big league appearance this year, and Corey Kluber will pitch for the Indians. 0-2. Reynolds in the early part of this road trip for Cleveland, their road trip through Houston and Chicago, had driven in 6 runs. One ball, 2 strikes. In this series, 1 out of 6 with a run scored. No RBIs. And we'll do it again.
What a tremendous day to be a baseball player out there in the field, man. It's a lot of fun, Ryan, but I'll tell you, the fans that aren't as fortunate enough to be out there, they're here, over 22,000 of them, and it'd be nice to see what kind of fans are going to come for game 2.
Kochaver strikes out the side. So he picks up where Guthrie and Collins left off. And we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Wow. The Royals in front 7-0.
Nice.
top. And after the game on Boulevard Royals Live, Jeff Montgomery and I will break this one down. Analysis from Monty, reaction from Ned Yost, plus Nate Bucati in the clubhouse. And then just want to encourage everybody to come out tonight. No TV. We're restricted from bringing you that due to national broadcast rights. But we are back on TV tomorrow night for the end of this wraparound series against the Indians. We'll come on out tonight. Over 6,400 tickets sold in walk-up for Game 1 here today. Hey, Ryan, I've had a bunch of people on Twitter asking me about all the bases-loaded walks. The Royals only had 2 of them last year. Looked it up. 1990, 14 times.
How do you find that? How?
Just Google bases. No, we got a stats service. Stats Inc. is great, and just a little filtering and looking through some stuff. And 19, but think about that, only
14,
but twice last year.
2-1 on Chris Getz, who led off last inning with a single, and the Royals ended up batting 9 and scoring 3. Take a 7-0 lead. Getz is 1 for 3 today, facing Scott Barnes. 3-1. Told you earlier that the problem for Indian starters this year has been walks turning into runs, and Masterson had 3 of those today. He walked 4, 3 came around to score, and that's 23 times now that's happened to an Indian starter this year. So Getz is on for a second time, and now back to the top of the order.
Another note on those walks, those 5 bases loaded walks on the season, that's tied this year with the Detroit Tigers.
Oh, 0-1 to Alex. He singled in the 7th inning. He walked in the 1st, so on base 2 or more times for the 12th time this year. 12 times in 21 games. He has failed to reach base once this year. One and 2.
Tell you, Gordon's batting average against lefties at .438, very impressive. There's not any lefties out there fooling Gordon very often.
That's blasted into deep center field. Back goes Stubbs, gone for a 2-run home run. And that's another home run for Alex Gordon against a left-hand pitcher.
Oh, man, I'm going to tell you now, it wasn't as loud as his grand slam, but it was elevated, a nice, easy swing. And a lot of people knew it.
He is now hitting .454 against left-hand pitching. And now Escobar rolls it to third. And that's the first out of the inning. And Escobar is homered today. So Escobar and Gordon going deep. And now the Royals have hit 10 home runs in their last 9 games. And just as Ned Yost and Dayton Moore were predicting that when the weather would warm up, so would the bats.
416 feet on the bomb. That's a couple of home runs off of Gordon's bat that went well over 400 this week. In fuego, he's hot.
0-1 on Billy. 9 runs, 10 hits for the Royals. And Billy doesn't have one of those hits. 1 ball, 1 strike. He walked and scored in the 7th inning. Gordon has 2 hits, Escobar a hit, Hosmer a base hit, Moustakas a base hit, Francoeur and Dyson with 2 hits, and Getz with a hit, and now Billy deep center field, but Stubbs will make the play as he runs onto the warning track, 2 down. speaking of the Escobar home run back in the 5th, as promised earlier, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Okay, Esky, 3 home runs on the season. Tied with Billy Butler and Alex Gordon. Esky finding some pop.
That gives Alex Gordon his home run. He's now the team leader in RBIs as the leadoff man with 17. Hosmer has driven in a run with a single in the 7th inning. And Barnes hits the outside corner. 0-2. And Chisenhall gets a nice big hop. And the throw is in time. The Royals have scored 9 runs today, 5 in the last 2 innings.
Pilot to Bombardier, open them doors and take a drink as that ball splashes.
Gordon's 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th. The MLB.com At-Bat app is the only source for live baseball everywhere you go. At-Bat delivers Royals baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, breaking news, and video highlights. Just download At-Bat now on your app store or text At-Bat to 31826. Luke Hochevar came on in the 8th inning, struck out the side. And now in the 9th, we'll get Carlos Santana, Ryan Rayburn, and Lonnie Chisenhall.
Boy, after so many close games decided by 1 or 2 runs, this is kind of nice for the Royals and the fans to enjoy a little blowout.
Ball 1-2 Santana, who just missed a home run in the 2nd inning, ended up with a double high off the center field padding. Perez to the screen, but it lands on the other side. That land on that guy's head?
Yeah, and he didn't even get the ball. He's saying, I can't believe I missed that. Okay, he's covering up. Ooh, yeah, he did take it. It deflected. It's all right.
Two and one on Santana. land a little bit high. 3-1. Hochevar struck out Kipnis, and he gave up a double to Cabrera, but struck out Swisher and Reynolds. All 3 strikeouts swinging. Three and two. And we'll do it again. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals. They may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Royals. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Hudler, Joel Goldberg, Jeff Montgomery on a beautiful day in Kansas City. And here at the ballpark, a beautiful day in more ways than one. Pitching, offense, defense. Score 9-0 in the 9th. Royals working on their 3rd shutout victory of the year. And now Hochevar and Salvador Perez are going to try and get on the same page. Our director is Steve Kurtenbach, producer Joe Lavero, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, Brian Shapiro, along with the best home TV crew in the league. I'm glad to see some of them with warmer clothes on today instead of bundled up with the parkas and the gloves and the wind and the rain. And Santana shoots it up the left field line, and that is down for a base hit. Santana will hold with a single.
Hey, you know, you can't blame Hochevar. He's just going out there. He's got a 9-run lead. Give him some fastballs to hit, and Santana found a single over there, but Gordon says, and that's all you're getting.
And a strike to Rayburn.
Some people might say today has been the nicest day of the year so far, but you know, it just depends on what kind of weather you like.
It's nice in Atlanta, but it was muggy in Atlanta. I mean, not as muggy as it can be.
Yeah, but I mean, here in KC, KC, you know, I personally didn't mind the snowstorms, okay? Just, you know, we don't see a lot of that out west, so it's kind of nice to be a part of that with kids and playing in the snow, building snowman. You know, that was a good time for us. So I personally didn't mind the snow. But a lot of people like that warm weather, and they're getting it today. I bet there's some sunscreen on people today even.
And it's going to get even warmer. 75 today, talking about 84 Monday, 82 on Tuesday, as Hochevar strikes out his 4th. One down in the 9th.
But did you say that there is a possibility it could cool down later next week?
Possibility. That forecast could change 7 times between now and then. That's another big difference between here and Southern California, Hud. I mean, you could spread the forecast out for a month in Southern California.
Yeah, nothing but sun. So
yeah, it's going to be sunny and 72. And a cold front's going to blow through next week, and it's going to be sunny and 71. 3 Royals chasing, and Escobar makes the play inside the line to get Chisenhall 2 down. $22,001 here today, and 6,400 of those tickets were purchased today. Those are referred to as walk-up tickets, so fans who didn't otherwise plan to come to the game saw the Royals were playing well, saw the weather forecast, and said, let's go to the ballpark. Hoping for another big crowd for the night game. Santana runs, and there's ball one to Stubbs. No stolen base for Santana. One and one on Drew Stubbs. Two and one. And now 2 balls, 2 strikes. Hochaver doesn't look rusty at all, does he?
No, he's coming right at hitters. I like that. It's almost like he's telling himself, I'm not going to walk anybody. I am going to go out there, and I don't want anyone to say anything about me walking anybody. I like it. It's focus. Go after him.
Struck him out. Hochaver, of his 6 outs, gets 5 strikeouts.
Woo. What a well-executed game all the way around for the Royals in Game 1. You got great starting pitching from Guthrie. Penn comes in. They were great. The hit was timely. The defense was solid. Ned couldn't have written up a better Game 1.
And it's the 3rd shutout win for the Royals. And all 3 have required 3 pitchers. Today it was Jeremy Guthrie for 6 2/3. Tim Collins got 1 out. Luke Hochaver 2 outs. And now the Royals are 6 2 at Kauffman Stadium.
Ooh, man, what a difference a year makes. And it's just tremendous job by everyone that came, especially the walk-up fans that are entertained here. And the great thing about today is there's 2. We get to do it again at 7 o'clock.
And that'll be Will Smith against Corey Kluber. No television, so if you want to see it, we hope you'll come out tonight. 9-0 Royals. And let's go down to the field. Here's Joe.